Hi everyone, welcome back to 33 Founders. Chase and I are really excited to be with the co-founders of Appsurdity and Quad Chat today, Matthew Murphy and Mary Yang. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Can we start out with you just sharing the immense solution you guys are providing for college students with Quad Chat?
Of course. So Quad was actually inspired by the lack of powerful communication tools for large groups of people. When we were developing our last product, Doubler, we were communicating with our development team, which we have a team in Beijing and a team in Silicon Valley. And we quickly realized that all of the group chat products in the market capped out at 50 people in a conversation. Unfortunately, I guess we have more than 50 people in our company, so we'd have to tell 5 people or 10 people, hey, you can't be in this chat session. And it was kind of absurd in the sense that, wait, we need a better product to communicate with our team. Being a global team in nature, mobile communication is the best way to do that, to have real-time collaboration. And so we said, well, this is an absurd problem. It makes no sense that you are limited to 50 people, so let's make this our next product, and let's build a better, larger group communication experience that helps groups and clubs and organizations use Quad to communicate better to achieve more things. So the solutions that we built into Quad involve, you can have up to 500 people in a group, which gets kind of noisy, right? So we've patented the ability to break those groups down into subgroups. So the prime example is a fraternity that has, say, 250 members. They break their fraternity up into people that talk about the social activities, people who talk about the philanthropic ones. You have the executive board, you have the recruitment board. They all talk about specific subjects. Whereas in a typical group chat environment, everyone's going to be talking in one chat room, whereas with Quad, you can actually break down into subgroups. And so you can have one Quad with as many subgroups as you want, and then people can go in and actually follow those subgroups. So they're only getting notified for the subgroups that matter to them, so their phone's not blowing up. But then they can actually break the conversation down, get more things done, have more organized discussion. They can plan events, they can send announcements. It's just really a more powerful communication tool for these college organizations to just achieve more.
It's really caught on like wildfire because 4,300 out of 4,500 of the colleges are using Quad, which is a huge accomplishment, especially because you guys don't do that much press for the app. How are you cultivating those brand evangelists and raising awareness so organically?
Yeah, so it's pretty much a diverse strategy. I mean, Mary runs all of our social outreach and growth hacking tactics. The beauty of the product is once you join, you create a Quad and you invite people on to join your group, because group chat with one person isn't really group chat. So there's some inherent virality in the product itself. And so Mary's built in flows to help make it easier for people to invite their friends. But one of the key differences that we have in our app that is really not apparent to group chat experiences is typically in a group chat environment, you can only chat with people in your address book, people you have the phone number with. Or if you're invited into a group, then you can kind of meet other people that way. Whereas with Quad, we've tied in location. So it's location aware, so it'll actually show you clubs and organizations and quads around your campus. Therefore, you can meet new people and start interacting and talking. So that ability, when you join Quad, you actually see other conversations going on. You see other groups that are out there. So it's less of a lonely experience and more of an inviting experience to jump in and start talking. Social mixed with viral, mixed with our brand ambassadors that are really out there spreading the word, mixed with some fun, creative sub-brands that we've created. So we've created the Greek Championships, which kind of celebrates everything great about Greek life on campus, all the great things they do. And we awarded some substantial prizes last year to the top 3 Greek chapters in the country. We also have Quad for Good, which supports dance marathons, Relay for Life, all of the great philanthropic efforts that college organizations do. And so these efforts really help spread the word, but give people use cases for how they can use the product.
Yeah, in addition to all these enormous efforts, you also shared last year that you want to reach 30 to 50% of all students. So where are you in achieving that goal so far?
We're still working hard.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, and I guess this one's for you then, Mary. How are you going to achieve that?
So first of all, for any product that's like chat related, you got to have a certain density in certain areas. So definitely we target certain schools first before really getting to like 30-50% of the whole like of all the US colleges, but we start from certain locations where there are a higher density of colleges. So we try to take over these schools first and try to hit a really high threshold in these schools and start to expand from there. So I think we have achieved such numbers in a couple of schools, including like Santa Clara University, Bowling Green State University. So the other approach always, as we say, like for growth hacking, for the product to grow itself, anyhow, it needs to be a good product first. So we always focus on the product, and we have a really loyal community, including our brand ambassadors and including a lot of our loyal users who really love the product. So they become such a chorus for us to spread the word. So we get that word out there. So it comes from real authentic users instead of like being pushed to you by an advertisement. So we always notice that through advertisement you can grow maybe like hype it in some days, but then the retention starts to get really low. But for us, we really target long-term growth, so that's why we haven't really spent like much or almost anything on advertisement. But we're focusing our efforts on more like building a certain type of culture and or a certain type of trend in certain colleges first, with our brand ambassador program and with all our social media efforts, building the brand and keeping the loyal customers, listen to their feedback and start to grow from there.
Yeah, so I mean, if a customer writes in with feedback, they'll get a response from Mary or myself. We actively reply to every email we get, every tweet we get, every outreach we get from our users, because it matters. And what they want in the product is what we build, right? I mean, they're the target audience. We want them to be happy. We want them to use it more. So if they want a feature, I'll give you an example. So last year, it was pretty unanimous. I mean, it was for a while, for a month period, every single email we got from users was saying, please add the ability to like messages within the product. And we said, okay, maybe it's just a trend, but no, literally it was like hundreds of emails came in, add likes, add likes, add likes. And so we added likes because it was something they wanted. It was an easy way to interact in the communication stream. One thing when you build a group chat product is that, say you have 100 people in a chat environment, it's kind of human nature to not everyone's going to respond, right, or react, because they don't want to bug someone, make their phone vibrate, annoy them. Maybe they don't know what to say in the conversation, but it's a lot lower threshold to just like something and show your support. So just that feature in and of its own right increased kind of just engagement and satisfaction back with the users. So it's really critical.
I'm sure the endorphins released from receiving a like are part of the habit building part, isn't it?
Very true.
Yeah. And so another way that you guys are also growth hacking is through your quad squad, which is what you mentioned earlier. I'm curious though, how are you targeting these students to represent your brand?
Yeah, so it's a great question. One thing we've learned with the college audience, and this is through Quad and through past roles that I've had as well at other companies that marketed to college students, was that if the academia or the institution is telling the students that they have to use a product, they will run the other way. Because if your professor says you have to use this, it's not cool.
That's why Blackboard isn't working out.
Pretty much, right? So it was very important for us to build a network of student influencers that were excited about the product, passionate about the product, and wanted to scream from the rooftops and tell everyone that, hey, you have to use this product. It's the best thing ever. I've personally helped make it better. They take my feedback. So the first year of building the Quad Squad, we were actively reaching out to active customers, people who were excited, people who were using it, people who found it in the App Store, found it from a friend and saying, hey, do you want to be a student influencer? Do you want to go out and promote? Now that we've kind of built the Quad Squad brand up and have enough awareness of it as a program, with 900 people kind of just applying for this round of 35 spots, we're able to really be a little bit more selective and find the people that have the right skills that we've learned are the best skills you need to kind of promote a product on campus. And to your point with your brother, when he says something, people listen, and maybe he's a thought leader at his school, and people follow and trust what he says about technology. Same idea with the Quad Squad. We want people who lead and help spread the word.
So on that note of identifying interns, how do you guys make sure that it's a mutually beneficial experience, both for you guys as the employer and for the student as a learner?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, we constantly have dialogue. So on a daily basis, we're talking with, obviously, our in-office interns, but then our Quad Squad that's distributed, they have all of our phone numbers. They have us on Quad, of course, which is the key way we communicate. But it's really, it's two ways, right? So we're very forthcoming of if you have a class project, if you need help on a homework assignment, if you need to interview, someone in the business, please reach out to us. We want to help you in any way possible. This should be a mutual relationship. We'll give them recommendations, of course, at the end on LinkedIn, and we'll help them with various skills and things that they need. But I think because we've made it a two-sided, very open relationship where, hey, we want to learn from you too, right? I mean, you're on your campus. You know what's popular on your campus. You know what helps spread trends at your school. We don't. We haven't been to all of the 4,300 schools out there, so it would be almost insane for us to kind of push one marketing strategy out to every single school and hope it works. Mm-hmm. So they're our intelligence, and they get rewarded financially, of course. They make money based on doing certain things each week, and then they also have performance incentives in place. But then they also get to run real marketing programs, right? So they get a budget. They've got anywhere from a budget from $100 to plan an event up to $1,000. If you're a college student, planning an event, running it with a real budget, seeing what the results are, that's experience you can't learn in a textbook.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you guys incorporate them into your culture, though? Because they're not at the office with you. They're dispersed around the country.
They're on Quad all the time.
Yeah. We talk to them daily. So literally we have a quad for the Quad Squad. And we're just constantly communicating with them, sharing photos in the office. We do barbecues every Friday, so we're constantly sharing photos back and forth with them. They're doing the same thing from events they're doing. We also go visit them. So Sean on our team who runs the Quad Squad, he just did a campus tour over the last week. So, he's just going school by school.
Mm-hmm. Great.
So how about other verticals then? You mentioned that it'd be great for business, and I agree. However, there's a lot of competition going on in that realm. So is that why you kind of chose the college market first?
One thing that we've learned is that high school students and college students are influencers. They set the trends. Mm-hmm. Facebook originally launched from college and then went into the enterprise afterwards. But many new products are actually kind of incubated or started on the college campus and then grow from there. So I think there's 20 million college students. It's a very influential audience. High school students, I don't know the exact number, but I would assume it's at least double in that sense. So it's a large market, and if we can become the preferred group communication product of high school and college students, it's only going to grow from there. We do have companies using it, and we actually do have interesting Twitter influencer networks where these folks kind of band together on Twitter to promote various products. And Twitter doesn't really have a group communication environment that's private. They just have one-to-one DMs, and they're going to be coming out with group DMs, but it's really not a collaborative tool. Mm-hmm. So they've come to us to have a better way to organize, hundreds of people in these Twitter groups. So
yeah. Wow. So then what is the importance of a niche market for a disruptive startup? Do you think it's essential?
I think it's important to focus. One of the challenges with your brand is that when you do focus it solely on college and on school life, you could, have other people who see it and not want to be a part of it, right? Because it's, I'm not in college, this brand isn't for me. So that is a delicate line. But I think one of the key things in startup life is focus. And too many startups go international too quickly, diversify into other target audiences too fast, add additional product lines too fast, and they lose focus on what the core thing they're trying to achieve is.
Yeah, if they're trying to build a community around their product like you guys are doing, do you think they need their own quad squad, so to speak?
I think brand ambassador programs and influencer networks are an amazing resource, an amazing tool for any company. So, I mean, we are seeing more companies like Lyft and Uber both have ambassador programs, because they're realizing the power of the college audience. And I mean, the average executive has been out of school for a long time, so it kind of be crazy for them to try to think like a college student, act like a college student. So surround yourself with college students. That's why we always have interns in the office, and we actually, a lot of our product decisions really come from the interns, because I graduated college way too long ago.
So I know we're here to talk about Quad, but I want to shift gears for a second and talk about the two of you's experience building Absurdity. Like we were speaking about before, you guys, your first product was Doubler, and recently you partnered with Yappy, who acquired the company. Can you run us through what it's like having a startup acquisition, especially when it's your first product, so you're a little apprehensive about who's going to take over the technology and how it's going to change?
Yeah, it's like your baby's growing up. And you're kind of, letting them go to college, right? In that instance, it's really about culture, and it's really about, do they see the world the same way? Do they have the same goals, the same mission, the same big idea for where this technology can go? And it was a really hard decision for us. But again, back to the focus point, we've realized that we have a ton of ideas and we can build a ton of different products. But if we want one to succeed, we really can't be running many products at once, being a small team. So it was a tough decision. It took us a while to make the decision, to be honest, but we realized it was best for the community if we partnered it up with another community that shared the same values, that could actually give even more than we could give to the experience, and make it a better product for our customers. But we're not apprehensive by any means. I mean, I think we're very happy with the decision, but you can tell it was an emotional decision, not necessarily a financial decision.
Yeah. So we really do care about our users, no matter for Doubler or for Quad. We just really do care about our users. And a lot of Doubler users are still in contact with us, tweeting us or talking with us on Quad, actually. So the biggest just decision factor was whether the two community could merge, or whether the new company could really take care of the users that used Doubler before, and whether their product features could satisfy the needs or could actually exceed, just go beyond what they expected for Doubler that we didn't have before.
So really the most important thing then when you're going about those acquisitions is to make sure that culturally for the users there's going to be no difference except an improvement.
Yeah, that was our goal. And like I said, we talked to quite a few different parties that were interested. Doubler was, I'd say, the first. Bubbly has been around for a while, but they had a slightly different focus. But Doubler was really the first voice-based community or audio-based community, and then quite a few others followed and jumped in. There's actually quite a few players in there now. So with us, we wanted to protect that and protect kind of what we stood for and what we gave to our users to ensure that community was strong. And I'll give you an example, and this kind of goes back to Absurdity's mission, right? We don't just like building mobile apps. There's millions and millions of mobile apps, and we feel that there's probably too many apps in the marketplace. So we try to focus on big problems that matter, that actually impact people's lives, so much that they want to put the app on their home screen, right? Which is the most coveted real estate. So with Doubler, we thought it was an interesting problem. We were shocked that no one else had solved it yet. But when we actually started seeing the use cases come in, it really hit home. And I'll give you a use case. So countless times we would actually have people attempt to commit suicide and actually go on Doubler and leave a dub to the community saying, I just slit my wrist, or I'm so unhappy, I need to talk to someone. And these are people from all around the world. And we're sitting here shocked, oh my God, this person's in
shocked.
This person's somewhere around the world. How do we get in touch with authorities? And our community actually came in and started talking through with the person their issues. And these are people who've never met before, have no thing in common beyond Doubler. And it was amazing to see people almost get their lives saved. Or if they did do something crazy, that the Develer community would reach out to the local authorities. They would go send an ambulance to the house, or they'd somehow find a way to get in touch with the brother, sister, neighbor, or mother. And I mean, knock on wood, like, everything turned out for the good. And the fact that like people were using this voice-based product as a way of kind of expressing their deepest concerns or secrets, and actually the community was reacting in a way that was so positive that they felt like they had a friendship network that they never even knew, was amazing to us. And that's kind of what fueled the development and really fueled the emotional nature of kind of like bringing it to the next level with the Yappy integration.
Yeah, well, I was definitely not expecting to hear that.
We
But
weren't sure.
I think what's so great about it too with doublers, it's almost like a secret or a whisper, but you really get that more cathartic reaction because you can say it out loud instead of just typing it.
Yeah, it's like a family.
Yeah, it's very
really
cool. So you guys have been developing apps together as a great team for the past couple of years. What's the most important lesson you've learned about product management?
Stay focused, I would say, just
Yeah.
like what Matt explained, because you can add tons of features to an app, but it's just so hard to keep it clean and simple, so all the users can come in and grasp what you actually want them to do in the app very quickly.
Were there any big features that you were hesitant to sacrifice?
Or not put in, or
Yeah, say like there are some college friends for anonymous, but whenever you bring that in, it's going to disrupt the normal chat or a club or organization atmosphere, and there could be some bad impact on the close group communications. So that is one thing we're definitely very hesitant in bringing on, though it
I think it's dangerous.
Yeah, though it could boost viral growth for a while, but we don't think yet it fits into the app atmosphere or the community very much.
Right.
Yeah, we tried to not follow the trends, to be honest. I mean, if we were following the trends, like Mary said, we'd have anonymous squads where anyone can jump in and say whatever they want and not have their identity tied to it. But to Mary's point, like it's really important to understand who you are and the value your product provides, and stick with it. Because I mean, our customers have amazing ideas, and they have a ton of ideas, and every day we get just idea after idea after idea, and you know, we have to use our experience and kind of our vision for what we're building to kind of filter through those ideas from a product standpoint. And Mary's the best at this. I'm the worst at it, because I'm like, come on, Mary, we need it because of these aspects, or, you know, we're going to, get more users if we do this. And she's like, no, we need to stay focused and stick with what we do.
On that note, you guys have mentioned that you receive a lot of feedback from college students. So Mary, when you're getting all of these different inquiries, can we add this? Can you take out this? How can we start doing this faster? Do you sit down and evaluate that yourself? Do you go to the interns you have in the office? How are you evaluating that feedback and turning some into action items and just leaving the rest?
So definitely we have tools to help us manage all the customer feedback, and we do document just the different requests that we get from them. And for every individual user, like either or not we finally take their feedback, we will try to talk to them, see why they think like that. Because even if they're sending the same request, maybe the reason behind is different. So we want to dive deeper and understand why they really want a feature, and just get to know them more, and also try to just maintain that good relation with them, because we do care about each individual user. And then for evaluation on the product features, we will just collect all the feedback, and we will chat every day, and almost every week we will have a brainstorm session on the new features or what the next steps are, and do a full evaluation on both engineering cost and how much impact it will have, just all these factors you need to consider in product management.
Great.
How do you ensure that a product manager is set up for success?
Well, the first thing is really communication, because you need to manage all aspects, like all different teams, like design, development, and everything. So communication is key. You couldn't just send an email, say like do this, and not follow up with it anymore. So like always follow in and make sure the communication goes through is very important, especially as we have international teams. And second is always listen to your customers, but you are the one who needs to make the final decisions, especially if a lot of people request this, but you know for sure that it doesn't fit in your product. So you need to have both the vision and also like listening to feedback, because maybe under this vision, some of the goals might change for the short term or for the long term.
Is there anything that struck you as super counterintuitive during the development of Quad?
Yeah, so during the development, I guess there are features that we thought were super easy to add into, but actually the engineering cost would be very high because we really don't want to sacrifice the speed or the stability for the app. So sometimes these are a little bit counterintuitive for us. But in the end, we always need to stick to the fact that we need a really fast and stable product, because that is all the beauty of real-time instant messaging.
So I know both of you guys call yourselves growth hackers in training, and I'm like a very I'm a very small growth hacker in training because I'm not even sure what it means really. So Mary, can you tell us about some of your growth hacking strategies, what works and what doesn't?
So you almost need to test and learn all the time, and it is so different for different products. Say like for a doubler, because it is pretty we call it UGC, that's user generated content. So it's not very hard to get a normal viral factor on social media. Say like if you integrate the Twitter cards or the Facebook APIs properly and do it as the way that they recommend, then whenever people send out post a dub and they want to sync it to the social media, then you would get very good viral effect and a lot of people clicking on it and actually closing the viral loop so that more people come in. But for Quad, it is slightly just trickier because it's meant to be private. A lot of the groups are meant to be private, and it is instant messaging, so it doesn't have the content that's created for everyone to look at. But we do have certain features within the app, say like when you want to create an open event or when you create an open quad, then you will sync it to social media as well. So this is the part on social media that we always found very successful if you can just follow the best practices and follow their new standards, because sometimes Facebook and Twitter will evolve a little bit and their standards might be somehow different. So your ranking in the home feed might be slightly different if you adjust something a little bit. And then we are also trying to get our users to spread the word as well. And also we're working on, say, like push notifications and email retentions. So as to what work or what doesn't, it might be just too down to detail sometimes, like maybe this copy would work and maybe that wouldn't. So I wouldn't say anything really failed, but we're really adjusting it, or we're doing A/B tests to see which one gets us more retention or more engagement, because the number wouldn't ever lie to you. Sometimes it's beyond our belief, like this one we thought would work better, but that one doesn't. You see all these kind of stories on a lot of blog posts all the time. So you really need to test and learn.
What do you think is the proper test time?
It's pretty different. It depends on like how many people would actually see that message and convert. It's really determined by the number of people who could use that feature. Say like for push notifications, maybe in 2 or 3 days you would get a very proper answer because most people would see it. Say like for other less used features, then you may need to wait for a bit longer.
Great. So can we close with you guys telling us how people can get on Quad and start using the app?
Definitely. So there's a few ways. One, go to the iTunes or Android app stores, search for Quad Chat, and they can download it right there. Or they can just go to our website and hit the download button and get on the app and start inviting their friends on, inviting their groups on, or jumping in and discovering their campus.
Great, and there's awesome emojis on the app.
Yep.
We custom designed those emojis, which we have a lot of fun with, and we want to add more. So yeah, there's more fun stuff coming for sure.
Sounds great.
Brilliant.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.